What's up, boopers? Today we're taking a short break from BDO to take a look at an MMORPG coming out soon called Riders of Icarus. The guys over at Nexon were nice enough to sponsor me and give me a test account so I can show this game to you guys. And if you've been with this channel a while, you'll know I did take a peek at this game back when it was in Korean closed beta test. But a lot has changed since then, so let's jump into it. Starting with character select, this MMO has 5 classes. We've got Berserker, which is a melee fighter that uses a giant two-handed sword. Then we've got Guardian that uses sword and shield and acts as a tank. Assassin that dual wields daggers and does assassin-y things. Then there's a priest who can act as a healer or do some damage on their own. And lastly, Wizard, who blows things up with fireballs and chunks of ice. For character customization, the options are up to modern day standards. You can choose from presets or alter pretty much any detail you want. So this game really lets you express yourself and create a character that you truly feel represents who you are and what you believe in. Jumping into the game, you start off in a prison, which serves as a sort of tutorial, and it does a good job of teaching you the controls of the game. The combat can be swapped between targeting or aiming, depending on your style. So if you've been playing stuff like WildStar or Terra or BDO, you can swap to free aiming, and if you prefer more click targeting like World of Warcraft, you can also use that. The story is conveyed really well through the game's cutscenes, and despite it being a Korean game, the voice acting seems decently convincing. You basically get jumped by an evil dude while escorting a princess, then you get thrown in jail and the princess is taken away. Thus starts your journey, and as your character progresses, the story gets more and more interesting. The leveling and questing is pretty standard, there's nothing new here. The game makes it easy to follow the instructions of the quests, even if you're speeding through the dialogue. It does this by highlighting objectives of any quest you're currently doing on the minimap, or putting icons above quest objectives, etc. But the main selling point of the game is its mounting system. It's called Riders of Icarus for a reason. So in the game you can basically tame anything you want and turn it into a mount or a pet. If you see a pretty birdie you like, you can just go and tame it. If you see a cute little turtle you want to ride, you can go and tame that too. The amount of pets and mounts you can get in the game are in the hundreds, and some are rare and require certain tricks to capture, or certain items. For example, there is a bear that you can only tame it if you jump off a cliff onto its back at the right time, or there's a beast that has a favorite type of meat and you need to lure it with that meat. The more rare and stronger the beast, the more complicated it is to catch. The game has its own bestiary that you can use to track and find the different beasts, and while some bestiary entries give you little hints on how to tame the beast, others you gotta figure out all by yourself. Now once you've captured one of these mythical creatures or generic bears, it can be turned into pets to help in combat, or they can be ridden for mounted combat, or even used to enhance your gear. And the pets can level up to learn new skills, provide you with buffs, all sorts of stuff. Now certain rare beasts have unique skills that'll make you want to go out of your way to figure out how to capture them. My personal favorite, however, was this little guy. But I'm sure most of you would rather be riding giant dragons or flaming winged horses. Now to give you guys a taste of what it's like to tame a flying beast, I'm basically gotta fly out here and pick a mob that I can tame. Then you have to try and angle yourself above the flying monster, and keep in mind I'm really bad at this. So once I'm in a good position, I'm gonna jump and... So once I'm in a good position again, I'm gonna jump and land on it. Then wrestle with it with a bit of a mini game until finally it loves me. This is a low ranking beast, so obviously it's much easier to tame than some of the more unique monsters out there in the world. There's basically hundreds of creatures for you to go all Pokemon on and try and catch them all, and I gotta say the flying mounted combat felt really fluid. On your mounts you utilize different skills than on the ground with a crossbow skill set or a spear, and you've generally got to stay very mobile to avoid enemy projectiles and other attacks. And the ground combat uses a combo system that resembles Blade and Soul slightly, where certain skills chain out of each other into combos. Now the game is complete with 5-man dungeons with scaling difficulties and 10-man raiding. I was able to jump in and try out a raid against a giant water guy. Now unfortunately, as it is intended for 10 people and not 1, I got owned pretty hard. But it looks really epic, and the game has a ton of awesome but skippable cutscenes to help you get immersed in what you're doing. So if you're looking for a new game to settle on and really like the idea of mounted combat or epic mounted battles with good old fashioned group play, you should definitely check it out. The open beta will be starting soon and the game is free to play. So if you want to get an early jump though, you can buy one of the founders packs through July 5th to get closed beta access, early access to the open beta, as well as some exclusive mounts and skins, link in the description. But yeah, thanks again to Nexon for sponsoring this video and giving me a chance to check this game out. I'll probably be messing around in it a bit more in the future, but until next time, I am booping out.
Enemy attack!